Let's have a look now at some common do's and don'ts about leg press. When you're doing leg squats, so you're standing up and squatting down, there's two things you've got to worry about. Back and knees. Back and knees all the time. In leg pressing, because you've got back support, you don't have to worry about your back so much anymore. I mean, if you're arching or rolling to lift the weight, then yeah, you've got to worry about your back. But if it's a manageable weight for you, your back should stay flat on the pad at all times. One of the most common do nots about this is your foot placement. Because if people put their feet right down here on the plate, if you notice my knees, the one thing I don't want my knees to do is go over my toes. So I don't want my knees ending up in front of where my toes are. That's exactly what happens. If you see, my foot is actually coming off the plate to try and combat the overstretching of ligaments and tendons. Okay? If you put your feet more in front, when you actually lower the weight, if you can see, my knees don't actually come over my toes. So they're in alignment. So if they're in alignment, minimal damage is going to be done just by doing the exercise itself. Another don't is having your feet pointing forward. Okay, so just having your feet flat on the plate, like so, and square on. When you come down, if you don't have a lot of hip flexibility, you're going to end up really twisting and putting a lot of pressure on your hips. But also, if your knees are quite weak, your knees have got a tendency to fall inwards. So when you're doing this, always have your feet somewhere between hip and shoulder width apart and slightly turn your feet out. This opens up your hips, allowing your hips to take more of a force, and also opening your hips so you can lower the weight down more without it being uncomfortable, and it stops your knees naturally turning in. So as you can see, I can come down a lot further because my knees are flared out, and because my knees are flared out, because my toes are flared out, my knees don't have a pressure of a choice of going inwards. They have to come out naturally to what my body wants them to do. So, in future, make sure your feet are higher up on the plate and toes are slightly turned out. So open up the hips, open up the knees, and make sure those knees don't go over the toes.